Alright, so I've got this Dewalt 20 volt max battery, and it has no indicator. The voltage is good on the battery though. It is fully charged. So I'm going to check power here between the B negative and B positive, which are on the two ends. B negative, B positive. Just going to stick my little probes in here and get a reading. And you can see it says 20 volts, 20.3. So the battery's fully charged. So I'm going to take it apart, see what the deal is. This thing's been kind of out in the weather. This battery's probably about 5-6 years old. So these have 4 screws, 2 and 2, and they use a little Torx with a hole in it. It's called a CRVT 110. So I'm going to take those out and take it apart. This thing, let me take the screws out and we'll continue the video. Alright, so I got the screws out. Now this thing pries apart. It only has 4 screws. It's got no other screws. So it pries apart, and right on this seam right here, and right along this area right here. I'm sorry, this area right here. So this is the top of the battery. So it's going to pry apart right up in here, along this seam, right up through here, and this piece right here is going to stay in place. Take the top off, and we won't have to take anything else apart to get that top off. So I'm just going to use, you can use really anything small. I'm going to use a little screwdriver, a little flat tip screwdriver, just to pry it apart. So I just want to show you here, I've got it partially pried apart. You can see the gap. So I'm just going to kind of wiggle it apart. Now I will tell you, when you take this thing apart, this is going to want to probably try to come out with it. So just be now this is the cover, and this comes right off. This little cover piece. Okay, there we go. Alright. So that just comes off, put that aside. And this is that little circuit board. And, alright, so when you get this apart, this is the little circuit board right here. You don't have to take the whole battery out. You can by prying it up here, back here. You can take the whole battery compartment out. I don't need to do that. I just need to get to this little circuit board right here. Like I said, this thing was out in the weather. As you can see, there's some corrosion, and I'm just going to see if I can find out why this little board isn't working. Alright, so this little board just pulls up in a slot in there. There you go, and it's got the 2 wires going to it. And we see here, looks like there's some corrosion there. So I'm going to peel this caulking back, take a better look at that, and see if maybe the wire's disconnected, or if it just needs to be cleaned up and resoldered. Let's see a better picture there. So it looks like, let me change this. So you can tell we got some corrosion there, and try to get this in to where you can see it. There we go. So we got some corrosion. I'm going to clean that up, see if there's something burned out there. And at where the red wire attaches right here, it's kind of corroded also. So I'm going to resolder that. These are my LEDs right here, my 3 LEDs, and of course my push button. Alright, so you can see where the positive connects, which is right here. So I'm going to be soldering that. I had to peel away some of this plastic around. I didn't want to take it off this button because I'm not sure if that plastic. Now I'll probably just use a little bit of flux on this. Use a little flux here and just solder those over. I'm using just regular rosin flux, and just adjusted a little better. I may need to get a little more support on that. Okay, so ended up we had a bad trace coming off of the fuse, coming off of F1, and I ended up putting a piece of wire there. The fuse was also bad, so I've got a jumper in the fuse right now to test to see what the in milliamperes is. So I've got this hooked up to my power supply over there, and I got it at 18 volts now. So if I press the little button, take a look at it was about 55 milliamps, maybe 60, and I get all three. If I turn it down to, if I turn it down to 16 volts on my power supply and press the button here, I get one LED. So it seems to work pretty good. I'm going to see if I can find a little maybe 100 milliamp fuse. If not, I may just put it back together again the way it is, and so that's it. So if that appears to be the problem, was just a bad fuse and a bad trace. Maybe some water got it down in there or something. But I'm sorry about the video quality. I know it's not the greatest, and but I will tell you, having a power supply where you can adjust your milliamp or your current setting. This one will go up to 3 amps, 30 volts. Is a huge benefit when it comes to troubleshooting, because you can go in and you can set your milliamps. So if you've got a short, it will just stop providing power, and it's a great tool for troubleshooting circuits, and it's just and they're not that expensive, and it's just well worth the money. So again. It was kind of interesting. I wasn't really sure where that fuse went to, and where the trace went, but there is, you probably can't see it, but there is a, right above where my, or right to the left of where my red lead is, there is a via that goes to the board, and it comes out right next to that switch. So I've got a wire going through there that connects that where the left side of the fuse goes through the via to make that connection there to replace that trace. So again, I hope you enjoy the video, like and subscribe, and if I get more people that are interested in watching these, maybe it'll prompt me to upgrade my video equipment or I can do better videos. But thank you again.